Rick, you know?
Let's see, last time you had king 8, right?
Suited,
First
suited.
hand, yeah.
No, king 9, double
And I was
suited.
betting Indy the whole way, right?
3 ace queen.
All right, I'm just going to give you a little feeler bet, see where I'm at.
2,200.
You're right in front of me. I mean, I can tell you where you're at. Las Vegas?
Viffer calls.
All right, now you got me scared.
I'm scared too.
Jack of clubs.
Rick still got the best hand, and Viffer hasn't picked up any additional outs.
Bet of 5,200.
Viffer's probably remembering the first hand as well, and Rick fired the river with nothing.
You got a 3?
No.
Viffer folds.
You can show him one card if you want.
I prefer not to see, actually.
Okay.
Can I look?
You can look, just don't show him. Just don't show him.
He said I can look. I don't care what you say.
Damn.
What'd you see? What'd you see?
You wouldn't have seen
I
it.
saw, you know, I saw it. I'm not going to tell you.
I don't know which one you saw.
I saw
though.
10.
You saw a 10?
If Antonio saw a 10, he must have been looking at Amanda.
We're back with more after this.
My name is Rick Rahim, and I'm playing the big game. Well, how did I get involved with poker? I'll tell you, I watched it on TV 5-6 years ago, and I said, you know what the heck, I ought to try that. And I ran up to Foxwoods, and I entered the main event. First time I'd ever stepped in a poker room, and I sat down, and I did pretty well there, and I was hooked.
Rick Rahim actually finished 10th in that WPT event.
Rick acknowledges he can be a real jerk at the poker table, which is odd because he seemed like a heck of a nice guy. He says he only does it if he thinks it'll give him an edge.
Viffer has straddled on this hand.
Disrespectful.
No, it's actually respectful. Now I'm steaming. See, the game got better.
All right, now we're playing some poker.
All right.
Action folds on over to Chau. 8-5 suited.
Oh, I wish I had any 2 cards I could call
is
you
this
with.
the one we're supposed to go? You said all in without looking.
Is that binding? You said all in, right?
No, he said all in without looking.
Is that binding? Because I think I heard him say it.
I heard him say it.
There they go.
I heard him.
All right, well, let me see what the river is, and then I'll tell you if it's binding or not. Yeah.
Troy calls.
Don't try it.
I gotta look.
You ain't gotta look. You don't have to. There's no.
King queen suited for Viffer.
We got a long day ahead of us. We got to keep it interesting.
Raises to 2,800, and Troy calls.
Please punish him, Troy.
I'm about to raise him no matter what the flop is. Let me get something.
Is that a promise?
No, it's not. It's binding if I say that. You know.
Well, you did say it.
Ace-9-7.
Check.
Rick's working the needle angle on Troy.
Wow.
Viffer bets 5,000.
I don't think he's going to let a rookie push him around. That's what he was saying in the men's room.
Yeah, I'm
earlier.
not a rookie though.
No, he's not a rookie. I give him that.
Not a rookie. I grind harder than you guys do. Trust me.
Viffer wins the pot.
Wait, you play a lot online, right?
No, I play live. I play live. I play at the casino.
What games do you play there?
I mean, it's a $200 max, guys.
Quick tip, if you don't want to seem out of your element, don't tell the table your max buy is their small blind.
He should listen to you, Joe. Barry straddles. Antonio folds. Chau.
Barry, is that a razor or straddle?
Straddle.
Rick folds.
I like your style, Troy.
Jack 10 for the loose cannon.
Troy's reaching for chips. He may think his Jack 10 is a decent shot against 2 random hands.
Raises to 2,500. Viffer calls.
Uh-oh. There's about to be a poker game breaking out here.
Even though he was under the gun, Barry Straddle bought him pre-flop position. After the flop, he still has position against the 2 blinds.
Barry re-raises to 9,000.
Because of his position, Barry's re-raising range is pretty wide. Now for Troy, he plays in a $200 max buy. His biggest win ever is $2,600. This raise is more than twice that.
You think he's doing that math in his head?
All he's saying is that's a lot of money.
And so he folds.
Well, if it wasn't pot limit before the flop, Perry, would that be like 90,000? Like, you know, but you could only make it 9,000 this time. Hey, you're gonna win.
Nice, Amber.
I only have one move, you know, all in.
You can't do it here, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I saved like 80,000.
I didn't even know it was possible. See, my hand was too good to move all in. If I'd known,
okay.
If I'd known,
Taylor, muck those cards real quick.
Viffer folds.
No angle shooting at this table.
that was the obvious aces.
Yeah, okay.
Barry takes down the pot.
Antonio, Why'd you button your shirt up? You had your chest out before.
I thought it unbuttoned itself, and I didn't want to be the guy with the Persian chest hair sticking out. You know?
were. You were that guy.
She told me it wasn't sexy. I don't know. But should I do it?
I think you should unbutton it.
Unbutton it? See, when I bend over, it looks kind of chachi, and I don't want to be that guy.
Amanda, work your own side of the street. We actually want it. We want the Phil Locke outfit on him.
I think it's a good look for owning a discotheque.
There's no medallions around his neck, though. Queen 10 suited. Antonio limps in. Rick Rahim's along for the ride. So's the loose cannon.
Run him.
With 3 high.
Wow.
Give me, I call that 400.
Friendly pot.
We give you your cards back for 600, Chau.
Yes, for sure. I will play for 600.
Nearly a family pot. 6-7-6 on the flop. Viffer checks. So's Barry. Same for the Magician. Rahim as well. Everybody checks. 5 of diamonds on the turn.
Viffer still got the best hand with a pair of 7s, and he's picked up an open-ended straight flush draw.
Viffer bet 1,500, and everybody folds.
This was your double-up hand.
It could have been.
So sexy. This is sexy. Now this is a very, very sexy hand.
6-7?
7-4 diamonds.
Now that is sexy. Wow, that's sexier than your unbuttoned shirt.
That's beautiful.
Well, thanks to Antonio and Viffer, it looks like Justin Timberlake isn't the only one bringing sexy back. You ready? We're back with more after this. Welcome back to the PokerStars.net Big Game. We have played 19 of the 150 hands so far. Viffer, 9 high.
But it was in front of you. It was in my back.
Folds. King 10 offsuit for Barry Greenstein. Raised to 1,500. Antonio's out. Chau. See ya.
He likes to feel manly.
Rick Rahim, very aggressive so far in the session. Folds. Now the loose cannon in the big blind.
Troy seems to have a hard time folding his big blind. It's worked out well for him so far. But even though you're in at a discount, you're almost always out of position.
He doesn't care. He calls.
He flopped trips last time. Not a care in the world.
6-6 jack, 2 hearts. Flush draw for Howard, who checks. Greenstein fires 2,000.
Barry Greenstein continuation bets compulsively.
And Troy makes the call. Ace of diamonds on the turn. Check by Howard. 5,000 from Greenstein.
Barry's using his position well here.
We can make it a friendly bet.
And that will get Troy to fold.
Troy seems pretty reluctant to part with any of those gray 5K chips.
The loose cannon tried to defend his big blind and is now down $7,200. And Joe, it seems Troy is playing a lot of hands here early on.
Yeah, as we look at the VPIP, which shows the percentage of hands where a player is getting involved pre-flop, the loose cannon is at 45%. Next up is Viffer. He's at 50%, probably because he's trying to play pots with the loose cannon. But even more ridiculous is Rick Rahim, who's at 60% VPIP. He's bordering on maniac.
It is early, but we're going to keep an eye on those stats all week.
Don't worry, I'll give you a gamble when you won a couple pot.
Chau folds.
I'm going to limp with a really strong hand.
Thank you, Rick. Taking my job.
I'm going to raise with a stronger one.
Be careful. Don't get too cocky.
I'm not. I'm just raising with a better hand.
All right.
Troy raises to 1,600. Viffer folds.
Despite his VPIP, Viffer knows better than the call with a weak ace.
Barry calls. And Rick is sticking around. So 3 to the flop.
Barry's actually a slight favorite in this hand.
Queen 5-7. Barry checks with a flush draw. Rick checks with nothing.
Troy's flopped the best hand with a pair of 7s. He's ahead for now, but both he and Barry have similar chances of making the winning hand.
Troy fired 3,500. Barry calls. And Rick folds.
Barry's likely to know he doesn't have the best hand right now, but with a flush draw and 1 over, he probably realizes he might not be in bad shape.
He's actually in great shape now after a 10 on the turn. Barry checks.
Barry's made his pair, now jumped ahead of Troy.
Troy fires 6,500 this time.
Barry might not know he's ahead, but it's going to be tough for Troy to get him to fold.
Barry doesn't fold. He calls. The river, deuce of hearts. Barry checks. Troy checks. And Barry gets the best of the loose cannon again.
Nice hand.
If Troy had played more aggressively, Barry maybe would have folded, but it's pretty tough to fire again in that spot.
Barry adds to his stack.
That's 3. 3 times a charm.
Troy lost an additional 11,600 that hand.
I knew you had the flush draw. I just didn't know if you had a pair or not.
Rick Rahim straddles this hand, so the action will begin on the loose cannon. Troy Howard folds. Viffer, king 4 suited. Raises to 2,400. Barry folds. Antonio, ace, queen.
Antonio's trying to decide whether he wants to call or raise.